This video's title is actually a lie. This is not my first run with a zero in it. It's actually my second. Because my first run was a 16-minute time, but I don't think you want to watch a slow speedrun, and I don't think you'd want to hear me yap for 16 minutes straight. So yeah. Um, I think the more important part actually is that this run is faster than all of my runs ever across ranked matches and private room sessions. And that needs to be emphasized because I'm not playing against somebody here. I'm playing in a private room. So it's really hard for some people, I guess, to consider this a PB. I mean, even I think it's not really that real of a PB, but you gotta give yourself credit where credit is due. So I'm just gonna say this is my fastest run and it's a PB, right? Um, yeah, this run, how do I say it? It's pretty good. Could have been faster though. I'm not gonna lie. If you pay attention to this overworld, this generally should have been like a 110 enter, but I end up tweaking out because I forgot I had iron nuggets and I ended up mining 3 logs, just thinking I had to craft wood tools, and I was struggling to figure out what to do next after I realized at that point I forgot the iron nuggets. So yeah. Um, Now to talk about zeros real quick. Like not talking about the run right now. It's generally like surreal to actually hit a zero on a run, especially if it's like your first time, like you're getting into micro speedrunning and you're at that point where you can learn zeros. Hitting one in a run is pretty surreal, and I don't think it's that surreal for me yet because this is a private room and not a real match. I feel like it'll hit different once I actually do a real match, but time we'll have to wait for a bit for that, right? But yeah, for me specifically, it is surreal, but I feel like it's just also surreal because I used to speedrun the game 4 years ago, and at that time, zeros were being discovered. But if I remember correctly, was it the T-Wags video that came out like first about like this kind of strategy at all? What I remember was that this strategy was largely RNG dependent, and like, of course, it's still RNG dependent now, but we've gotten to the point where we've just discovered strategies to like basically zero on almost every tower and almost every situation. I don't know if there are situations where we can't zero. I haven't looked into that, but yeah, for the most part, it's genuinely surreal that we've gotten to the point where hitting a zero on a run is basically just mandatory for a fast time. Like, it's not like, oh, it's a rare situation that happens. It's like, no, you're gonna play for that situation every time because most of the time you can probably zero if you're a top player, and that's just a crazy thought. You know, speedrun progression type of thing, basically, where everyone just gets a lot faster because of a specific strategy. I didn't think zeros were those because I was there when zeros were first being discovered. But I guess it's just something to expect for like most of these games where you speedrun, and some technique that you thought was impossible now becomes like the most common thing ever for top speedrunners or something like that, right? Now, speaking of zeros, we should talk about how much I've practiced zeros so far, right? So, for now, I've already practiced all small and medium tower variations, and front and back dragons specifically, right? I did try buried setup, or like buried entrances. I don't know what you call them, but only specifically Y56 for some reason because I heard there was a specific angle I'm supposed to hit, and I was just practicing that angle basically. But for the most part, the practice or like like the difficulty of pulling them off is okay, I guess. I'm not mechanically skilled, by the way. I can't really like staircase up really fast. So for most of these like smaller towers, it's actually pretty okay to pull them off for the most part. M91 is really the hardest one, or specifically back M91 open or buried M91 at all. Like, it's either buried M91 at all or open back M91 that I find myself struggling a lot because I can't hit Y99 on those setups. And I'm not sure if Y99 is the only setup available or I can hit a lower height like 97. I don't know if that's a thing. Like, I should probably look into that. But right now I only know Y91 for M9, like Y99 for M91, and I'm struggling to hit that if it's like front buried or back open basically. Everything else is kind of okay for the most part. I just need to get better at like pearling basically, so that I'm like throwing optimal pearls or something like that. But yeah, for tall towers, I'm not doing those as of yet because how do I say this? I'm not sure if they're more difficult to pull off. I feel like what makes it difficult is largely dependent if your spawn is open or not. But I haven't practiced any tall tower setups because most of the time those setups are a different kind of like bridge to your standing position. Because for most of these smaller towers, I know it's like you gotta bridge out a set number of blocks and then go to your height, and then you gotta build the obsidian setup. For like these tall towers, it's like you gotta do some extra bridging, and I think you need to actually speed bridge at that point if you want to hit the tall towers, right? And if it's speed bridging, we don't count those, or I'm not doing them. Especially when you do the back and front 1/8s, I'm not doing any of that because I can't speed bridge that consistently yet because that's an actual requirement for those type of towers, right? So yeah, so far just small, medium towers, and back front dragon and some buried practice, right? I'll slowly expand those over time, and hopefully I'll just get better at them. But even if I get better at them, I so far I don't plan to do them in a real run or in a real ranked match yet because I said this in the previous video, but I'm not gonna do actual zeros in matches until I hit diamond, and that's just because I want to build a really good pace for the rest of the run, right? Once again, I'm not sure if this is feasible to do right, but in my head it's like for most of these top runners, their pace is just that good that they can just hit sub 10s without even doing a single zero. Like, how are these runners hitting consistent sub 8s or sub 7s or maybe even sub 9s and they're still doing zeros? So in my head, if they didn't do zeros, they would just basically add another minute to their time, and that's still really fast, by the way. Like, if these guys or these top runners are hitting like sub 9s or sub 8s with zeros, basically doing no zeros at that point still gives you a sub 10. And in my head, it's like, if you can do that, then basically I'd want to just get that fast then, and after that do zeros afterwards. I'm not sure if it makes sense what I'm saying, but basically I just want to build a good foundation for the rest of the run before I actually start doing the harder end game, basically, right? um I've been talking zeros for a while, but I haven't been talking about the real run so far. I think one key point about this run is that this is actually zero food, technically. The only food I had for the entire run was the enchanted golden apple. And I'm actually impressed that I completed the run with just that. And I don't even realize that I had like zero food this entire run until the end, basically. So yeah. These, okay, how much of the run haven't I talked about? The Bastion was okay. Bastion could have been faster because I could have left earlier if I remember correctly. The Fortress is fine, although the travel to the spawner was kind of sus because I'm not sure if I should have just pearled to the lava earlier or if I should just taken the terrain and decide. This spawner is fine. I do like one eye measure. That's fine. I did pre-crafts though. That's what I like. I like doing pre-crafts, and I'm glad I was able to get that off before even like finishing getting all of my blaze rods, right? This travel to the stronghold is pretty sus, I guess, because it's basically like through this wall, so I'm trying to find a good direction here. I mean, I do think I played this pretty well because I remember where the open space here, like this is blocked, so we run back, go to the right here, and I'm pretty sure like I know where to go. I basically figured it out, right? So it's pretty fine. Although I never use pearls here because I'm scared for my health. I have no food. But I could have used one or two to get to the location a bit faster here. I do like this one. I basically like see the open space here, and I recognize I can go down. I should have pearled here, but I guess I just didn't want to take fall damage if there was fall damage. We both down, and then there's just like little crack on the side here that somehow is just there. I'm probably lucky. I'm not sure if people do that, but I got pretty lucky here, and I just go straight, and I'm like basically there at the course. It's just here and then right turn, and then basically bang. Like, it's pretty good. I'm not sure, but it's pretty good in my eyes. I failed the pearl throw here because I'm supposed to get sprint, but I end up trying to like salvage that by using the 45 degree strafe basically, and now I'm basically in the stronghold location. Now, this stronghold nav will be fast, but I want to talk about the end real quick because I don't want to talk while it's happening, right? But the end that I ended up getting is front 85. So it's front open 85, so it's very free for most players. I can hit it, right? So it's pretty free, but in the end of the thing, I get sky crabbed basically when I was bolting down after this zero. I basically looked at an Enderman while boating down, and I almost die. But like when I enter the portal, I do the Skycrab Tower, right? But I still get hit. But as I got hit, I entered the end portal, and I thought that was pretty funny. Um, Besides the Skycrab, this took 8 explosives to do, which I don't like. Usually I want to do 6 or 7, 6 7 joke. Insert 6 7 6 7. Um, but yeah, 8 explosives is a bit too much, and I think I could have done better. Also, I don't know how to do plus ones because I'm really bad at doing plus ones. I need to practice a bit more. So yeah. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh my gosh. Oh, oh my god, I got sky grabbed. Holy frick. I did That was insane. Holy shiz, what a PB. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. And it's a full zero too. Holy frick.